Hello friends, welcome back once again in the video lecture series of data communication and networking. Its subject code is 1618502. Today I am going to teach you lecture number 3rd, which contains transmission mode. To the concept of transmission mode, let me explain you the course content that is going to be taught by me in this video. So first of all, I will give you the formal definition of transmission mode. After that, I will explain different types of transmission modes. So there are 3 types of transmission mode. First is your simplex mode. So I will give a brief discussion on simplex mode, and I will also discuss various advantages and disadvantages of simplex mode. After that, I will discuss second type of transmission mode, which is also known as half-duplex transmission mode or half-duplex mode. Right? After that, I will explain its advantages and disadvantages. Later on, we will come to the third type of transmission mode, which is also known as full duplex mode. And later on, we will also discuss about its advantages and disadvantages. After completion of all the above topics, I will try to summarize the course content, whichever I will be taught in this video. And I will also give the good references which are very much valuable for you for better content. So let's start with the first topic, that is transmission mode. That is the definition of transmission mode. See, what is the definition of transmission mode? When the two devices are ready for communication is known as transmission mode. Basically, these two devices are connected with either bus or networks. Buses and networks are important transmission mode for sharing the data from one place to another place, right? So as I have already taught you that there are 3 types of transmission mode. First is your simplex mode, second one is your half duplex mode, and third one is your full duplex mode. So in this video, we will entirely discuss about their types, their features, and their advantages and disadvantages of all these 3 all of these 3 modes. So before starting in depth, let's quick recap on the figure. That is, transmission mode can be classified into 3 parts. First is your simplex mode, second one is your half duplex, and third one is your full duplex mode. So let's talk about simplex mode. What is simplex mode? Simplex mode is, in very basic definition, if somebody will ask me, so I will just say it is unidirectional. Unidirectional means what? The transmission will be done in only one direction. That means if we are having 2 devices, so out of 2 devices, one will be always sender and second will be always a receiver, right? Please take note of that. Sender cannot receive and receiver cannot send a message. So sender will be always sender and receiver will be always receiver. The main feature of this type of mode is that entire capacity of the channel will be sending by the sender in one direction only. The reverse direction in this scenario is not at all possible, right? Okay, we can have some examples of simplex mode. So keyboard and traditional monitors are the good examples of simplex mode. We can also use mouse in it. Here I have used traditional monitors because this monitor includes a monitor which can only gives the output. But in today's era, we can also having the monitors through which we can use the input. So here I am excluding the modern monitors. That's why I have used here traditional monitors, right? Okay, fine. So to explain this in a good way, let's have a figure here, right? So here, as we have already seen that, okay, yes. So this is sender and this is receiver. So sender only sends the message and receiver can only receive the message. The entire capacity will be sending from one place to another place. Suppose this is computer A and this is computer B. So A will be always sender and B will be always a receiver, right? So from the above feature, we can just look what are the advantages and disadvantages of the simplex mode. So let's talk about first of all advantages of simplex mode. So as I have already told you that full capacity of the transmission medium will be used by the sender only, right? There will be no space given for a receiver to send any message back to sender. That means sender has sent something but receiver has received it or not, it does not. Receiver does not acknowledge to the sender. So in such type of transmission, we are not sure that sender whatever the sends it the message to the receiver, whether the receiver got the message or not, right? Second way, this is the simplest way of the transmission. See, if the road is one way, then it's very easy, then there will be no traffic issue at all, right? So that is why it is known as the simplest way of transmission. As I have already explained you about simple way of transmission. So simple way of transmission is to no traffic issue. That means there will be no congestion in simplex mode, right? But the disadvantage is that receiver receives the message or not, sender will not come to know this thing, right? Okay, fine. So there are certain disadvantages also. Let's talk about some of the disadvantages here. Okay. As I have already told you, advantage is one-way transmission, as well as this is the disadvantage also. Why it is disadvantage also? The same thing I have taken one example that if sender is sending some message and receiver is receiving or not, it is not known to the sender. So this is the disadvantage of the one-way transmission. One-way transmission is congestion free, it's good, but acknowledgement we are not providing to the sender that whether it is reaching to the sender or not, right? Okay, fine. Next one is your bidirectional communication is not possible. Say bidirectional communication, that means whatever I have sent to the receiver must acknowledgement that whether your packet or whether your message has been received or not, right? Okay, fine. Second type of transmission mode is half-duplex mode. Now, what do you mean by half-duplex mode? I have taken some example with a diagram, but before that I will explain you through some definition, then I will come to the diagram. So what is the half-duplex mode? In half-duplex mode, each station can transmit or receive. That means what? The sender is sender, I know. The receiver is receiver, I know. But the thing is that in half-duplex, sender can be receiver and as well as receiver can be sender. But these two activities will not be performed at a time. So that's why in the definition it has been mentioned clearly that each station can transmit or receive. That means each workstation is a sender and receiver, but not at a time, right? Okay, fine. The second one is the best example for this type of communication is radio communication devices. So through this figure, we can easily understand in the figure first, A is sending something and B is receiving the message. A is sending something and B is receiving here. But at the second time, B is sending something and A is receiving something. So these two are the different scenarios. That means what? If A is sending, A will be sender, and at that time B is to be receiver only. And if B is the sender, at that time A will be acting as receiver only. So this is the transmission mode which is different than simplex mode, right? And let's take some advantages and disadvantages of such type of transmission mode, that is half-duplex. So first advantage is speed is big as compared to simplex mode. right? Speed is really big advantage of a full duplex, or it is better than your simplex mode. Okay, the same thing. Device means workstation can send some data or some receive some data, but both activity will not be performed at a time, right? A workstation will behave sender and receiver both, but they will be behave sender as well as receiver differently at different times, correct? Okay, fine. Troubleshooting is very easy. See why it is so, because whenever any congestion will happen, so it is very easy, it will be very easy that where the congestion happen, at what time is congestion is happen, whether the congestion or the problem arise when A is sending to B, or when the problem arise when B is sending to A. So in this way, according to the timing, we can easily identify the troubleshooting, right? Okay, fine. As I have already told you, data is transmitted in both directions, but not at a time, right? The same passage will be used for data communication from one place to another and vice versa, but at two different times. Okay, fine. As I have already told you, the data is transmitted both sides. That means the channel is, the communication medium is bidirectional, but not at a time. Please take note of that. It provides bidirectional communication, but not at a time. Why I am emphasizing on not at a time? Because similar situation we will find in full duplex. There we will also talk about the transmission about bidirectional, but it will be at a time, right? Okay, fine. So let's talk about disadvantages of half duplex. Okay, the transmission, in this type of transmission, data are transmitted in both sides, but not at a time. That means what? We obviously want that when we are constructing a road, right? So road can be used for two ways. But what happens sometimes due to the special situation, a road is acting as a passage one way for a certain period of time due to traffic jam, and after sometimes the other end will be open for the transmission. So such type of transmission may gives the delay of transmission. That is why in disadvantage we can conclude that the same passage is being used for bidirectional but not at a time. Okay, fine. The next one is, due to this delay in transmission, the transmission gets slow, right? The transmission gets slow. And as I have already told you that there is a delay in data transmission. Why there is a delay in data transmission? Because the same path is used for sending and receiving. Once a message is transiting from one place to another place, other transition cannot be possible at that particular span of time. That is why there will be a delay in the transmission. So such type of disadvantages are removed in full duplex mode. How? Let's see one by one. The same path has been used for bidirectional transmission, and it was done simultaneously. That means what? Whatever workstations that we are using, those workstations will be used as sender as well as receiver, but at the same time. Means simultaneously a sender can be receiver or the receiver can be sender, right? So the second point is that same path is used for both ways. Suppose I have constructed a path and it is being used for two way. That means I can do the best use of traffic. So in this situation, the delay time will be as less as possible, right? So here it is good example of full duplex, that telephone. So how telephone is considered as full duplex? Because through telephone we can speak out and we can listen, right? The same device is used for sending as well as at the same time it can receive also. So here's the best example of full duplex full duplex transmission mode, where this is the sender, this is a receiver. Sender can also receive at the same time, and receiver is also able to send some messages to sender once again, right? Okay, fine. So let's talk about some advantages and disadvantages of full duplex mode. So advantages first. Okay, so its performance naturally when a path is used for two-way at the same time, so the performance will be really increased. That's what it is included in the first point. That is, performance of full duplex is really much better than that of the earlier transmission mode, right? Second, the speed of the full duplex is much higher than the simplex mode or half duplex mode, right? Okay, data can be sent in both directions, right? Data can be sent in both directions simultaneously. Okay, there is no delay in the transmission, because why? If there is no traffic jam, that means if we are providing the same path for two-way communication, so there will be no traffic jam, and due to no traffic jam there will be no delay at all. Okay, fine. So these are some advantages of full duplex mode. Now let's talk about some disadvantages of full duplex mode. Bandwidth utilization. There will be a problem with the bandwidth utilization. Bandwidth utilization will be not proper. Say suppose if we are dealing with the composite signals, there we can face lot of problems, because composite signal is having the combination of several signals with having several frequencies and several different transmission speed. So that is very challenging issue. Okay, the architecture of this mode is really quite complex than that of the earlier one. The architecture of full duplex will be complex as compared to the simplex mode and duplex mode, right? So let's see what we have studied up to till now. So in summary, we can conclude the video lecture in this way, that transmission mode is the device which is useful for data communication between two devices, right? And basically transmission mode is of two types: buses and networks. In network, the edges are also known as your links, right? Okay, fine. So there are three types of transmission mode. First is your simplex mode. As I have already told you about simplex mode, it is unidirectional, in which between two workstations, one is sender and another is receiver. Sender can only send and receiver can only receive. Sender cannot be receiver and receiver cannot be sender. Okay, fine. In half duplex mode, it is better than simplex mode, in which we are having two stations, right, in which one is acting as sender and other is acting as receiver. But sender can also behave as receiver, as well as receiver can also behave as sender, but these two activity will perform at different time. They will not perform simultaneously, right? So that is the big advantages of half duplex, which was better than simplex mode. The last one is your full duplex mode, where the transmission mode is used, where the two devices are acting as sender and receiver both at a time. That means data communication is possible bidirectionally. The data will be transmitted bidirectionally because the sender and receivers both are acting simultaneously, right? So let's talk about references. We are having three types of references. First is book, second one is URL, and third one is your
website addresses of the YouTube, right? So thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.